So after the Block 11's match with Japan U20 team, Jinpachi Ego Block's creator and coach decides that in order for them to evolve, they must go to a different environment. And also in order to gain the most experience, they must go to where the game is the hottest, which is Europe's Big 5 leagues, the peak and pinnacle of soccer in the world. Out of these Big 5 leagues, the block participants must choose one to go to train in, depending on which categories of play that they want to sharpen themselves in. England is the rush category, and it's a league characterized by speed and physical battles, where goals are stolen by the law of physical prowess. Kind of off topic, but this also explains Adam Blake's insane physical prowess during the World 5 match. Next up is Spain, a league where techniques and creativity are desired. It's a place that gathers footballers who want to express themselves with creativeness and playfulness. Next up is Italy, a league that favors slyness and tactics, and holds history in being able to win 1-0 while holding their defense. Their playstyle is one that fuses individual strength with robust team organization. The fourth league is France, and this league is acting as a gateway to success for newcomers and young players. And in recent years, their market has received a grand lot of investments, so the money flows constantly. And they're also currently in a great spot to become the greatest league in the world. The final league in the Europe's Big 5 leagues is Germany, a league that fundamentally understands that football is a sport that you win by scoring the most goals. They favor getting victory by logical and rational means, and the player who currently holds the title of the best striker in the world, Noel Noa, is there. Of these countries in the Big 5 leagues, Ego Jinpachi invited the players under 20 that play for the strongest teams in the Big 5 leagues in order to play with and sharpen the minds of the young block participants. From England, the Manshine City team. From Italy, it's the Ubers. From Spain, it's the FC Barcha team. From France, it's the Paris X-Gen team. And for Germany, it's the Bastard Manshine team. For the block participants, whichever team they choose to go to will be their teammates and the players that they coordinate with, and the others will be their enemies. But one thing in common with all these teams is that there's an ace striker who reigns over each of these top teams. And in this video, I'll be covering all of those top strikers and what they do and predictions for the future generally as well. If you enjoy this type of content, make sure to like the video and also subscribe to my channel, since I make blog content quite often and I'm beginning to post more often as well. Also, if there's a topic that you'd like me to go over in the future, make sure to go ahead and comment that in the comments down below and I'll probably see it. Now to get into the masters for each country goes as follows. For the England Manshine City team, it's Chris Prince, the perfect hero. For Spain's FC Barcha team, it's Lavinho the dancer. For the Italy Ubers, it's Snuffy the crowned messenger. For France's PXG team, it's Loki the god sprinter. And for Germany's team, it's of course Noel Noa the star striker. For the sake of the video, I'll be going over them, starting from the ones we know least about, going to the ones we know most about, so I can get the ones that we know very little about out of the way very quickly. To start off is the master of the Uber teams, Marc Snuffy the crowned messenger. Now most of what we know from Snuffy is actually from the most recent chapters, since as we know, the Germany team is facing the Ubers in a match, and we're getting a bunch of flashbacks to Barro, Lorenzo, and Snuffy all talking. Now the first bit of lore we get from Snuffy, besides his nickname being said, would be when Noel Noa explains that the Uber's teams traditionally have been strong defensively, and their master Snuffy is a strategist nut, so prepare to face an intelligent and crafty team. And we know that Snuffy's team, as of now, relies on mainly defensive strategies and playing as one whole organism, and only having one star striker on the team, that being Barro for now. Snuffy's philosophy relies on aligning soccer with just a job, and thinking of clubs like the Ubers as a corporation, games or business deals, and the top players are employees. And the reason that the Ubers are so good defensively are because Snuffy studies data of everyone on his team, making game plans for offense and defense, and basically for every situation that they'll ever be in. And because all these strategies are created by one of the world's best players, it creates an almost flawless way to a victory. And if any strategy fails them, all of the blame falls on Snuffy. Now Snuffy's philosophy may seem kind of surface level, but we learned in the recent chapters that the reason that he adopted this philosophy may be deeper than we thought. We learned that a long time ago, Snuffy was just like Barro, getting by on life solely on his talent, and alongside him was his best friend. They took full advantage of the wealth and luxuries that come along with becoming a superstar player, and they believed that they were going to become the kings of the fields. But they messed up by skipping their training and letting their skills diminish, and suffering injury due to overworking themselves. They then lost their place in the starting 11 and got into several scandals. Snuffy says that when a man falls, it only takes an instant, and finally, his spirit shattered, and his best friend took his own life. He then questions Barro, asking him, will he be able to love himself when he's no longer viewed as a genius? And before you're a football player, you're a person, regardless of whether or not you are talented, so value your life. Now to link this back to the Uber's playstyle, Snuffy's philosophy is based on using all of your cards that you need to, and maximizing all of them in order to gain victory. And if that doesn't work for you, then victory was never really on the table in the first place. But this still allows you to maintain some kind of mental health in order to not lose yourself like Snuffy's best friend. Now regarding Snuffy's nickname, the Crown Messenger, we learned from Lorenzo, the best defender in the U20 world, that Snuffy gained this name since he wins trophies for every team he plays for. And furthermore, the reason that he plays football and the reason why he aims to win in all the Big 5 leagues is to achieve the dream that he once shared with his best friend. And he'll achieve that once he wins a series with the Ubers teams, and after that he decides to retire. But we do know he's looking for a successor after he retires, since he asked Barro to become the successor and the next king of the Ubers team. Now as for Snuffy's playstyle, we don't really know much about it, but we have seen it once when he's playing against Barro, trying to convince him to join the Ubers team and join his philosophy. While playing, we see that he has a very fluid and smooth style of soccer, being able to easily take the ball from under Barro very quickly, and he's also able to get away from Barro just as quick. That's really all we know about Marc Snuffy, and now we can go on to the next master, Lavinho of the FC Barcha team. So when Lavinho was introduced, he's named as the genius dribbler that Brazil boasts of, and most of what we know about him comes from the Barcha team versus the Germany team match. Now, if you couldn't tell from his appearance, Lavinho is a very laid-back person, and this goes as far as from when he's introduced to the Block Initiates, to which Otoya asks him, "Is this for real? And are you going to be teaching us football?" And he says, "Well, I guess you could say that I'm your master, but I ain't going to teach football to anyone." He then says that this place was made to create the best striker in the world, but he's already the best, so he's not going to give out any hints. He relates to the character Bachar very well in the sense that he's very laid back, and he also mentions something after Bachar says, "Isn't Noel Noa the best in the world?" And Lavinho responds that he doesn't care what anyone says, the best is him and he has the best right inside of him. And it's not something anyone else can see, and the image exists within him alone, which is obviously very similar to Bachar's monster. Lavinho's philosophy roots in originality and freedom. That's the reason that he won't give any hints to becoming the best striker in the world, since he believes that to become the best, you have to do it in your own idea, and you have to have your own image already made. And for him, the image of the butterfly is what he uses, since this allows him to play freely and dribble wherever he wants to, really. We see more of Lavinho's playstyle and personality in the Spain versus Germany match, where after Kaiser makes an amazing shot with the Kaiser impact, he says he wasn't planning to come out, but let's use my 3 minutes. Star change system, I'll be joining the battle. Noel Noa responds with, "Your immaturity hasn't changed a bit, and if the balance has collapsed, what is there to teach you, idiot?" And uses the star change system himself in order to fix the imbalance on the field. From their interaction, we also learned that Lavinho already lost to Noel Noa last year. Now with Lavinho starting on the offense with the ball, of course the only person on the field that can guard him would be Noel Noa. And when the match begins, he says, "Bring it on, Cyborg, you can never take away my freedom," to which Noel Noa responds, "Freedom? Surely you mean waste," and the matchup starts. Lavinho starts with a bunch of scissors and trying to get away from Noel Noa, and Isagi even says that he can't catch up to them, and Lavinho's doing a series of unpredictable moves, and Noel Noa is right behind him, who mechanically keeps up. And this is a one-on-one of gods from different worlds. While this is all happening, it looks like a stalemate, and no one else can really intervene in this one-on-one. But out of nowhere, Isagi tries to create a 2-on-1 situation, but Lavinho easily reads this and uses it to get over on Noel Noa, using Isagi as kind of a roadblock, and allowing him to dance around the field freely. Just by dribbling around Isagi, it makes Isagi almost fall, if not for Noel Noa stopping him. And he says, "Do you know why Lavinho is called the Dance Man?" To which Isagi responds, "No," and Noel Noa says that he's the best in the world at taking his opponents by surprise. However, those magnificent steps are not the origin of that name. Players who are led by his dribbles seem like they're dancing and toppling down, doing a dance of defeat. That is where the name comes from. And we cut back to Lavinho, who's on a one-on-one with the goalie and completely sauces him and says, "I'm the one who brings death, the free butterfly, dance till you die, you cripples," scoring an amazing goal, putting the Spain team up 1 point. Now that's all we have on Lavinho. You know, he's a very free guy, and he's also a very interesting master, as he doesn't take a direct way of training his people, but he rather just lets them do their own thing and learn on their own. But now we can get to the next master, England's Chris Prince. So when Chris Prince is first introduced, he's stated to have a body of iron and is considered to be a striker on par with Noel Noa himself. We see that when Chris Prince gives his introduction to the Blue Lockers, he says that the philosophy of our Manshine city is speed and rush. Only a healthy body can harbor madness to change the world, you know? He then asks them what are they looking for when they choose a team, and he's able to also instantly know their abilities and playstyle after just touching their muscles, and he does this to Chigiri, Nagi, and Rayo. But he's similar to Marc Snuffy in the fact that he says that all of them rely too much on their talents, and when they don't take care of their talents, it withers. And that's why being successful while still not understanding your own mechanism can turn into a curse that brings you only suffering. And he goes on to say that I was like that in the past, but that's not how pros are. What kind of muscles can bring out your own talents and help you create the plays that you want? A professional is one who understands and controls oneself. This is what it looks like when you chase after that and obtain a perfect, unbeatable body. After explaining the philosophy of the Manshine City team, that being understanding their own weapons and learning to utilize them fully, we see that he says time for a body revolution, and we see that he actually has max stats and everything. He has 100 in power, speed, jump, pass, dribble, and shooting, and he has an S level body overall. This technology also says that he has 100% potential, which is absolutely insane. Chris's personality is also very centered around popularity and fan service, as well as his own kind of ego for popularity. As we see when he joins in for the Manshine City team in the star change system, he only joins to score a goal and show off to the cameras. And he even takes his shirt off knowing full well that it'll be a yellow card. Now when Chris Prince starts to play, he actually starts on defense, and he starts playing against the new generation 11 Michael Kaiser. Kaiser originally wasn't going to take his offer, but since Chris Prince said running away already, I'm disappointed Kaiser. You act all high and mighty against weaker opponents, but you cower in the face of someone stronger than you. Are you a coward, little boy? And of course, due to this kind of gaslighting, Kaiser says, Ness, give me the ball, time to send this old geezer to hell. The matchup begins and Kaiser begins trying to get away from Chris Prince, but even Isagi is able to say that Kaiser kicked things up a gear, but Chris is still able to easily keep up, and both are attacking and defending without leaving even the tiniest gap. Similar to Lavinho and Noel Noa's duel, this is a one-on-one duel that Isagi just can't interfere with. Because Kaiser is struggling to get past him, Chris Prince continues taunting him saying, hey, what's wrong? Try and get past me, or are you unable to win by yourself? Is that all you got, you so-called next generation superstar? And Kaiser attempts a double touch nutmeg, but Chris Prince is able to easily keep up, and he then says, I guess you're a small fry after all. The next time we get to see Chris Prince's playstyle is when he catches a pass from Chigiri, and he's faced with Noel Noa cutting off his shooting angle. But he just responds, you're too late. And Noel Noa says, are you nuts? There's nowhere for you to shoot. And Chris Prince says, logically speaking, yeah, but it would be suicide for me to fight you logically. But this is a move I created to surpass you. My new illogical weapon, and chips the ball, attempting a knuckleball shot. Because of the way he kicked it, Gagamaru has no idea where it's going, and even Chris Prince doesn't know where it's going. But luckily, Isagi was able to coordinate with Gagamaru in order to block the only two places it could have went, completely devouring the world's number 2's illogical shot. But other than all of that and him blocking Yuki Miya's goal, that's really all we know about Chris Prince, so now we can get into the last two masters. Starting with the best striker in the world, Noel Noa. For this part of the video, I'll be skipping over all the obvious parts like Noel Noa being the best striker in the world and get straight to the things that people don't usually notice. Starting off with the fact that Noel Noa only starts in the star chain system when other world class level players also do, in order to fix the offset balance. The first time he does this is obviously with Lavinho, like I mentioned in his section of the video, where he switches in to offset the balance since Lavinho would just completely destroy anyone he played against since they were literally just kids. And in this match, we also get a description of why Noel Noa is the best striker in the world. Now to give you the context of the scene first, Isagi is trying to figure out a way to get to a better place than Noel Noa in order to devour him and become a better player himself. He starts off by describing his mechanical dribbling and says that it takes everything in him just to grasp the plays, and to read a step forward and find a better position is completely impossible for the current him, because the way Noel Noa plays embodies what he sees as perfection. While being faced with Lavinho on defense, Noel Noa just jumps straight over him. And while this is happening, Isagi says that he knows more than anyone, Noel Noa's greatest weapon is not having a perfect body or a perfect brain, but it's the fact that he doesn't lose power no matter which leg he uses. And while this is happening, Lavinho is charging at Noel Noa from behind and attempts to knock him off course to destroy his shot, but Noel Noa is simply able to regain his center of gravity and shoot the ball with his left foot, while Isagi says his God-given disposition of being ambidextrous is his true weapon. And thanks to his legs, he can aim for a goal at any angle, and this is the genius that I admired, the best striker in the world, Noel Noa. The next time we see Noel Noa use the star change system is when Chris Prince subs in, saying that he's a failure as a master. And this time he doesn't sub in as an attacker, but rather subs in as a defender to completely lock down Chris Prince. And he's actually able to lock down Chris Prince quite a few times. One of the times where we see him do it is when Chris Prince tries to stop Isagi's play, and Noel Noa says it's closing time and hits Chris Prince and says time for us to clock out and call it a day, and kicks the ball away from him. As for Noel Noa's philosophy, it's very clearly logic and reasoning, as Ego says. He also says this himself when he subs in and says that I'll be siding myself with whoever plays the most rationally. So people have asked me about Noel Noa and what he is as a trainer and how he stacks up against the other trainers based on his coaching abilities. And to comment on that real quick, I'd rather just say that I'd wait till the PXG team plays and we see how Loki is doing in his training. And after that, I may make a video ranking them based on their coaching styles and abilities, but I still do hold the same stance that Noel Noa is not a bad trainer. Now that we finally finished Noel Noa's section, we can get into the section of the only World 5 player that is actually a master in the Neo Egoist League, Loki the God Sprinter. Now the most striking thing about Loki is that he's only 17. He's about the same age as the other players on the block facility, and he's leagues above them in terms of skill, even to the extent that he can train them in order to be world-class players themselves. We've only seen Loki play one time up until now, which was of course in the World 5 match against the block team. And as Isagi is guarding him, he says at that distance he has nothing but weak spots, and takes his first step and completely annihilates Isagi with his amazing speed, getting through all of the block's defense, while Isagi says that he has the endurance to maintain his speed and insanely wide stride dribbling. And the only person that's able to really read him on the field is Rin, but even while Rin is able to see him, Loki just says you got foresight, but I'm faster, and accelerates even more and scores his goal on the block team. This one moment shows Loki's ability fairly well, which is his insane speed and acceleration. But aside from his playstyle, I've seen quite a bit of misinformation going around about Loki, which specifically revolves around the New Generation 11 as a group. A lot of people think that Loki's in the New Generation 11 or should be in the New Generation 11, but something that people really don't seem to understand is that there's a fairly wide range of levels to this. And even though the New Generation 11 are insanely good, Loki is simply too good to be categorized in this group. You can easily come to this conclusion when you see that every New Generation 11 player has been shown with that title when they're shown on screen. And even aside from that, I mean, we see that people of the New Generation 11 are being coached by the Masters, which just implies that they're on a different level on its own. And I don't doubt that there's actually a New Generation 11 player on the PXG team. But yeah, I think that wraps up the video. That's really all we know about the Masters of the Neo Egoist League. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to of course like and subscribe, and also comment down below what you think of the Masters. And if you want me to do a topic, go ahead and comment it as well, since I'll probably see it. But yeah, goodbye.